Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we will be going over 15 amazing facts about ancient Egypt. But before we start, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so that you're notified when we next upload. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Number 1. The Great Pyramid's mathematical precision. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built over 4,500 years ago during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, is one of the most iconic and enduring symbols of ancient Egyptian civilization. What makes the Great Pyramid truly remarkable is its incredible precision in construction. The pyramid's four sides are aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal points of the compass: north, south, east, and west. This alignment is so accurate that the deviation from true north is less than 0.1 degrees. Such precision is astonishing considering the pyramid's massive size and the limited technology available to the ancient Egyptians. Number 2. Hieroglyphic writing. Hieroglyphic writing was one of the earliest forms of writing developed by ancient Egyptians around 3200 BCE. Hieroglyphs were intricate pictorial symbols that represented objects, sounds, or ideas. The word hieroglyph is Greek and means sacred carving, reflecting the ancient Egyptians' belief that their writing was a gift from the gods. Hieroglyphs were used to inscribe important religious, historical, and administrative texts on temple walls, tombs, and monuments. Over time, the writing system evolved, and hieroglyphs were supplemented by two other scripts, hieratic and demotic. Number 3. The Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone, discovered in 1799 by French soldiers during Napoleon Bonaparte's campaign in Egypt, is one of the most famous artifacts from ancient Egypt. It is a black basalt slab inscribed with a decree issued at Memphis in 196 BCE, during the reign of King Ptolemy V. What makes the Rosetta Stone so significant is that it contains the same text written in three scripts: Greek, Demotic, a cursive script used for everyday purposes, and hieroglyphic. This trilingual inscription provided the key to deciphering ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, which had been unreadable for over 1,000 years. The breakthrough in decipherment came in 1822 when French scholar Jean-François Champollion successfully translated the hieroglyphic text, unlocking the secrets of ancient Egyptian history and culture. Number 4. Cleopatra's Reign. Cleopatra VII Philopator, commonly known as Cleopatra, was the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt. She was born in 69 BCE and ruled Egypt from 51 BCE until her death in 30 BCE. Cleopatra is one of history's most famous and enigmatic figures, known for her intelligence, beauty, and romantic liaisons with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. Despite being of Greek descent, Cleopatra was deeply committed to preserving Egypt's independence and cultural identity. During her reign, she promoted Egyptian religion and culture, even presenting herself as the reincarnation of the goddess Isis. Cleopatra's alliances with powerful Roman leaders ultimately proved to be her downfall. After the defeat of Antony and Cleopatra's forces at the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE, they fled to Egypt, where they both committed suicide. Cleopatra's death marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty and the beginning of Egypt's incorporation into the Roman Empire. Number 5. The Sphinx's missing nose. The Great Sphinx of Giza is one of the most recognizable and enduring symbols of ancient Egypt. Carved from the bedrock of the Giza Plateau, the Sphinx has the body of a lion and the head of a human, possibly representing the pharaoh Khafre, who ruled during the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom. One of the most enduring mysteries surrounding the Sphinx is the missing nose. The nose's absence has sparked numerous theories and speculation about its cause. One popular legend attributes the missing nose to Napoleon Bonaparte's troops, who allegedly used the Sphinx for target practice during their military campaign in Egypt in the early 19th century. However, historical accounts and sketches from the 18th century suggest that the Sphinx was already noseless by that time. Another theory posits that the nose was deliberately destroyed by religious fanatics during the medieval era, possibly due to its association with paganism. Regardless of the true cause, the missing nose has only added to the Sphinx's mystique and allure, making it one of the most iconic and enigmatic monuments of ancient Egypt. Number 6. The Book of the Dead. The Book of the Dead is a collection of funerary texts and spells that guided the deceased through the afterlife in ancient Egyptian religion. Also known as the Book of Going Forth by Day, the Book of the Dead was a vital part of funerary rituals and was buried with the deceased to ensure a successful journey to the afterlife. The texts contained in the Book of the Dead provided instructions on how to navigate the dangers of the underworld, avoid demonic creatures, and reach the paradise of the Field of Reeds, where the soul could live eternally in bliss. The spells and prayers in the Book of the Dead were often inscribed on papyrus scrolls and placed in the tomb alongside other funerary goods. The content of the Book of the Dead varied depending on the time period and the individual's social status, but common themes included the weighing of the heart ceremony, judgment by Osiris, and the journey of the sun god Ra through the underworld. Number 7. Pharaohs and Mummification. In ancient Egypt, mummification was a sacred and elaborate ritual reserved for pharaohs, nobles, and other high-ranking individuals. The process of mummification was believed to preserve the body for the afterlife and ensure the deceased's eternal existence. The mummification process typically involved several steps. First, the internal organs, such as the brain, liver, lungs, and intestines, were removed and preserved in canopic jars. Next, the body was washed and covered with natron, a naturally occurring salt that helped to dry out the flesh. After a period of drying, the body was wrapped in linen bandages and adorned with amulets and charms for protection. Finally, the mummy was placed in a coffin and buried in a tomb along with funerary goods and offerings for the afterlife. The most famous mummies from ancient Egypt belong to the pharaohs, whose elaborate tombs and treasures have been preserved for thousands of years. Number 8. The Valley of the Kings. The Valley of the Kings is a necropolis located on the west bank of the Nile River near the ancient city of Thebes, modern-day Luxor. It served as the burial site for pharaohs and other powerful nobles during the New Kingdom period, 1550 to 1070 BCE. The valley is home to over 60 tombs cut into the rock of the surrounding hillsides. These tombs, known as rock-cut tombs, were designed to protect the pharaohs' bodies and treasures for eternity. The most famous tomb in the Valley of the Kings is that of Tutankhamun, also known as King Tut. Discovered by British archaeologist Howard Carter in 1922, the tomb of Tutankhamun contained a treasure trove of artifacts, including his golden death mask, chariots, thrones, and jewelry. The discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb was one of the greatest archaeological finds of the 20th century and provided valuable insights into ancient Egyptian culture and religion. Number 9. Ancient medical practices. Ancient Egyptians were skilled in medicine and surgery and developed a sophisticated system of medical treatments and procedures. Egyptian physicians, known as doctors of the knife, treated a wide range of illnesses and injuries using herbs, ointments, and surgical techniques. They had extensive knowledge of anatomy and were skilled in performing surgeries such as amputations, trepanation, drilling holes in the skull, and setting broken bones. One of the most famous medical texts from ancient Egypt is the Edwin Smith Papyrus, which dates back to the 17th century BCE and contains detailed descriptions of surgical procedures and treatments for various injuries and diseases. The ancient Egyptians also believed in the power of magic and religious rituals to heal the sick and protect against illness. Medical practice was closely intertwined with religion, and many treatments involved prayers, spells, and amulets to invoke the gods' help and protection. Number 10. The Nile River. The Nile River is the longest river in the world, stretching over 6,600 kilometers, 4,100 miles, in length. It flows through Egypt from south to north, emptying into the Mediterranean Sea. The Nile River was the lifeblood of ancient Egyptian civilization, providing water for irrigation, transportation, and fertile soil for agriculture. The annual flooding of the Nile, known as the inundation, was a crucial event in ancient Egypt's agricultural calendar. Each year, the river would flood its banks, depositing nutrient-rich silt and replenishing the soil, allowing farmers to grow crops such as wheat, barley, and flax. The Nile also served as a vital transportation route, allowing goods and people to travel between Upper and Lower Egypt. The river was worshipped as a god by the ancient Egyptians, who believed that its waters were sacred and life-giving. Today, the Nile remains an essential source of water and sustenance for millions of people in Egypt and the surrounding region. Number 11. Religious beliefs. Ancient Egyptian religion was a complex system of beliefs and practices that evolved over thousands of years. The ancient Egyptians worshipped a pantheon of gods and goddesses, each with their own unique attributes and domains. Among the most important deities were Ra, the sun god, Osiris, the god of the afterlife, Isis, the goddess of magic and motherhood, and Horus, the god of kingship and the sky. The ancient Egyptians believed in an afterlife, where the soul would journey through the underworld and face judgment by the god Osiris. To prepare for the afterlife, the ancient Egyptians conducted elaborate burial rituals and constructed elaborate tombs filled with treasures and offerings. The pharaoh was considered a divine ruler with a special connection to the gods, and was responsible for maintaining Ma'at, or cosmic order, in the world. The pharaoh performed religious rituals and ceremonies to ensure the gods' favor and protect Egypt from chaos and disorder. Number 1. Pyramids and monumental architecture. The ancient Egyptians built some of the most impressive and enduring monuments in human history, including the pyramids, temples, and obelisks. The most famous of these monuments are the pyramids, massive stone structures built as tombs for the pharaohs. The largest and most well-known of the Egyptian pyramids are located at Giza, near Cairo. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built for the pharaoh Khufu around 2560 BCE, is the largest and most famous of all the Egyptian pyramids. It was originally covered in smooth white limestone casing stones, which reflected the sun's rays and made the pyramid shine brightly. The pyramids were built using massive blocks of limestone and granite, quarried from nearby sources and transported to the construction site using sledges and ropes. The construction of the pyramids required immense labor and organization, with thousands of workers, craftsmen, and engineers working together to build these monumental structures. The pyramids were symbols of the pharaoh's power and divine authority and served as his eternal resting place, where he would be reunited with the gods in the afterlife. Number 13. Daily life and social structure. Ancient Egyptian society was hierarchical, with the pharaoh at the top of the social pyramid, followed by nobles, priests, scribes, artisans, and farmers. The pharaoh was not only the political leader of Egypt but also its religious and spiritual leader, with divine authority over the land and its people. The pharaoh's authority was upheld by a vast bureaucracy of officials, scribes, and priests who managed the affairs of the state and conducted religious ceremonies and rituals. Beneath the pharaoh were the nobles, who held positions of power and privilege in Egyptian society. They served as advisors to the pharaoh and held important administrative and military positions. Below the nobles were the priests, who were responsible for maintaining the temples and conducting religious ceremonies. Scribes played a crucial role in ancient Egyptian society, serving as record keepers, administrators, and government officials. They were highly educated and skilled in reading and writing hieroglyphics. Artisans and craftsmen were responsible for producing the goods and materials needed to sustain Egyptian society, including pottery, textiles, and metalwork. Farmers were the backbone of the Egyptian economy, growing crops such as wheat, barley, and flax on the fertile banks of the Nile River. They paid taxes in the form of agricultural produce and labor to support the state and its institutions. Number 14. Women's rights. Ancient Egyptian women enjoyed more rights and freedoms than women in many other ancient civilizations. While men held most positions of power and authority in Egyptian society, women were not completely marginalized and could own property, run businesses, and initiate divorce. Women were also entitled to inherit property and pass it on to their children. Wealthy women could afford to hire scribes to represent them in legal matters and protect their interests. Women from all social classes participated in religious rituals and ceremonies and could serve as priestesses in temples dedicated to goddesses such as Isis and Hathor. Women were also involved in the production of goods and materials, working as weavers, potters, and brewers. While men dominated public life and government, women played a significant role in the economic, social, and religious life of ancient Egypt. Number 15. Legacy and influence. The legacy of ancient Egypt continues to influence art, architecture, religion, and culture worldwide. Its iconic monuments, rich mythology, and contributions to human civilization have left an indelible mark on history. The pyramids, temples, and tombs of ancient Egypt are among the most famous and enduring symbols of human achievement. The hieroglyphic writing system, with its intricate pictorial symbols, has inspired artists and scholars for centuries. The ancient Egyptians' religious beliefs and rituals have also had a profound impact on Western civilization, influencing the development of monotheism, esoteric traditions, and occult practices. The legacy of ancient Egypt can be seen in the architecture of modern cities, the art of contemporary artists, and the religious beliefs of millions of people around the world. Despite the passage of thousands of years, the legacy of ancient Egypt continues to fascinate and inspire people of all ages and backgrounds, reminding us of the enduring power of human creativity and ingenuity. And that's it for today. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe and turn on that notification bell so that you're notified when we next upload. See you next time.